it was all willpower alone. Like I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm never drinking again. I had it in my head. I made a decision. And so it was kind of, I don't want to say easy, but like I just decided I wasn't doing it. But that's when like Christmas rolled around, and that's when like the dark settled in, right? And I think that's where people either crack or, like people aren't willing to stay in that uncomfortable feeling long enough, as long as it takes to get to the other side. Because like, if you think about it, like you're rewiring all these pathways in your brain and you're feeling things that you haven't felt in probably decades, that you've been numbing forever.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Hey everyone, just want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Sober Strong Apparel. Sober Strong Apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. We got heavyweight tees, hoodies, and gear for ones who draw a hard line. So if you go to soberstrongapparel.com, use code ROCKBOTTOM, all one word, capital letters, ROCKBOTTOM, for 15% off. It used to be 10%, now you get 15% off. So check it out. Quality of clothing is amazing. Definitely look into the Impact Sponsorship Program. It's amazing. 10% of all purchases go to treatment facilities. So it's going to a good cause. I love what this company represents. Check out soberstrongapparel.com. Use code ROCKBOTTOM. 15% off, y'all. Enjoy this episode. All right, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan and Rachel. We got Rachel as my co-host, and we have Erica Calhoun as our guest today. Erica, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're glad to have you here. So as you know, we're talking a lot about recovery today, and looking at your Instagram, we see a lot of the stuff that you're doing now, women's alcohol freedom coach and all that stuff. So we want to hear all about that. But first, we want to know a little bit of background. What's your sober date, if you have one? What was your drink or drug of choice? Where you're from? Just a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Well, I'm from the East Coast of Canada originally. Now I reside in just outside Toronto in Ontario. I've basically struggled with addiction pretty much my entire life from the time I was about 15 years old into high school. I started out, well, we moved from the East Coast to Ontario, and that's kind of where it all started for me, like leaving a small town and then into a new city, and I just sort of fell into with the wrong crowd trying to fit in, smoking cigarettes. And then that led to weed. And, just like I had no real reason to kind of go down that addiction route. Like I had a really, really good family. My parents were amazing, good brothers. I played sports, like just had everything I ever wanted. So there was no like major bad thing that happened. It was just, we moved and I ended up in the wrong with the wrong crowd. So that kind of led to into high school. Probably by the time I was probably 17, I was already doing like ecstasy and cocaine and going to raves and just, again, just skipping school. And I stopped playing sports and stuff and just didn't care anymore really about that stuff. And then I was going to the bars with a fake ID by the time I was 18. And then once I was 19, it was just like a way of life, like going to the bar, drinking, doing coke. And that led me down the path of OxyContin. So that was a full-blown oxy and cocaine addiction in my 20s, which I don't know, like I had to claw my way out of that one. Luckily, by the age of 25, I just sort of looked at my mom and dad and said, I need help and I need it now, like not tomorrow, not next week. So trying to keep this quick, but I ended up going to get treatment for that. And so that was like 17 years ago, maybe. So I've never touched a pill since. Now, the problem with that was I got clean off of that. And then I moved out west to Western Canada, and I was, holding down a job and just living, but like partying still, like on the weekends. So I was just a weekend partier, right? And then I moved back to Ontario in my 30s, and I probably in 2019, I got in a really abusive relationship, and I barely made it out of that one. I'm very fortunate that I did. And that led me into like doing drugs more with him, and in that environment where I spiraled. And then just that's where the drinking kind of started too. And then I got out of that. And then basically COVID hit. I lost my job. I was out of work. and then I into another relationship, and then that's where my drinking got really, really heavy. So I wasn't doing drugs anymore, but like I hadn't fully processed what had happened to me in that relationship, and then losing my job, like everything just stacked on top of each other. And that's when I was just like full blown drinking every day. And I kind of clawed my way out of that, got a job after a year, thank God. The job I have now, which was my saving grace. And I've been doing really, really well. Like, I guess, well, not well, but I was sort of just becoming like, I guess a functioning alcoholic is what you could call it. I'd work all week and I just couldn't wait till Friday to drink myself into oblivion from Friday right till Sunday. And then I'd be going back to work on Monday. My hands would be shaking so bad. And like I got to my 40s and realized like my body cannot handle this anymore. Like this is not doing me any favors. Like I have to change. And then I lost my dad actually to cirrhosis of the liver. So that hit me pretty hard. And then a couple months later, I just decided I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm done. And so it wasn't like one thing that just made me stop. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I just said, I'm done. And my dad wouldn't want this for me. And, I haven't touched a drink since. That was over a year and a half ago now. When would have that been? July 29th, 2024. So here I
Wow.
am.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the gist of it.
That was
There's a
quite the
lot more in there.
synopsis.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go into more details now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
It's quite a
now we're gonna
journey, yeah.
backtrack. No, yeah, you basically said it all, but we're gonna get into a little more detail if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So you said you moved at 15 years old from somewhere that was a little more secluded, right? And then you go into a city where you don't know people, you're a teenager, your hormones are going crazy. Now, is it a sense of like now you don't fit in, you found the wrong crowd and now you're just doing whatever you want to do, you're trying to numb something or you're just having fun?
Well, no, like I think it was like it was quite a culture shock for me going from I had friends in a small town and like when I moved to this big city, like all these girls in high school, like they all had boobs and makeup and stuff. And I'm wearing like my hockey hat and like jogging pants. Like I did not fit in and like just immediately was very intimidating. Now, one thing I didn't forget to mention is that I just found out recently that I have ADHD, like severe. I was finally diagnosed. And so that once I figured that out, it was like poof, like, oh my gosh, every decision I ever made, like here I was at like 15 years old trying to self-medicate to shut these voices in my head off and like calm down and try to figure out like, why I couldn't focus at school and like all the things, not just to mention the peer pressure, right? And so, and all of the reasons why I drank, why I did all the like whatever drugs, like everything, that was my coping mechanism. And I was even at that young age not knowing what was going on in my brain and just, oh, okay, this weed feels good. Like, and I just wanted the next one, like immediately. Like I wanted to just chase whatever I could. And so the way the lady just, my therapist and psychologist described it to me is that my brain is hardwired to chase dopamine at any cost. And so it all just makes sense now. So that was part of it too. Just not fitting in and like not knowing what to do. And I got attention. I got attention from the older guys that I was partying with. And it just like it spiraled from there, right?
Yeah.
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 And kind of talking about something you mentioned in the first couple of minutes about your dad passing away of cirrhosis. So, did you grow up in a family? Although you said it was a good family to grow up in and all that, was he a noticeable alcoholic at the time?
Not growing up, like my family, like we're the East Coast, we're known for our hospitality. And so there was always a party going on, aunts, uncles, cousins. And that's just how we celebrate. Like, somebody's getting married, you have a drink, you're at a funeral, people are drinking, like you're at the cottage, everybody's having a beer. Like it was always around, but there was no like real alcoholism. I think later in life, we found out that my dad also drank but he was more of a functioning alcoholic. Like we didn't know like how much he actually liked his vodka and would be in the garage maybe making a shoddy, a toddy, that's what he would call it. But we didn't really
Mhm.
know until he got sick like how much he was actually drinking. And by then it was kind of too late when they told him like you have cirrhosis. Like, and that's when he had to quit. Unfortunately, it's what killed him, 5 or 6 years later. So he was sober in the last 5 to 6 years of his life. But I don't remember us ever saying dad has a drinking problem. Like, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just
Okay.
curious.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good question.
So how did
Yeah.
it evolve into, like, say you started off drinking, partying with older people, you know, at 15? How did it evolve into other things like drugs, pills, stuff like that?
Gosh, I just hanging out with the wrong crowd. Like we as like 16, 17, I had a girlfriend I used to hang out with, and she probably like, the two of us got into a lot of trouble together, and we were hanging out with the older guys. And I just remember like they sold weed, they had ecstasy and pills, and like we were experimenting with these guys, sitting in the back seat, like smoking with them. And like just it just spiraled from there. And like I think with the boxy back in the late, or when this would have been in like the 2000s, right, ish, in the middle of the, like, we didn't know how bad oxys were back then. It was just like, oh, I can do coke all night, and then I can just do this pill, and then I can sleep, and it's great. Like, and then all of a sudden you're addicted to the pill, and then the booze and the coke doesn't even matter anymore. All I could worry about was just getting another pill, right? Because it's oxy, right? So
Oh,
that's kind of how that spiraled. And I'm very fortunate that my parents were able to like get me into treatment and help me at that time. And that I needed it, and I knew if like, I didn't get to that point where it was like, I'm gonna go rob a bank if I don't get one. Like, I kind of luckily had my parents, and I'm like, I can't keep going like this. I'm sick, and I have no money. I can't steal any more money. Like, how am I gonna get my next hit? And then I realized, like, I can't do this. So my mom and dad got me into treatment, and that's how I got off that. Thank God. Yeah.
Proud of you for that. I could relate to you. I could relate to you with hanging out with older guys at a very young
Yeah.
age that we should not have been hanging out with.
No
Being in the
business.
backseat of the car, fogging it out, listening to like loud ass music with the speakers that are blown out. Like, yeah. And then, but
Mhm.
instead of oxys for me, I was drinking as well. But instead of oxys for me, that's when I got introduced to benzos and I
Mhm.
would black out. So I understand kind of it's a similar teenagehood for me
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary, really.
for sure.
when did
Yeah.
it
I'm glad you got help.
when did it escalate, for, say, like when you started taking oxys to go to sleep and stuff like that, which I totally get. When did it turn into like, how long was the progression in between that and, oh, I just need oxy now? Like, forgot
It
about
was
everything else.
pretty fast. Like, I mean,
Really?
it only takes a couple times, and like your body already starts to need that next hit. So I always dated drug dealers, like always. So I always had a way to get whatever I needed to party. And I've been in some really nasty situations. Like I've been through a lot of fucking trauma, and like the fact that I never processed any of that shit, I would just keep going to the next thing and whatever's next.
Mhm.
So it's, the fact that I am where I am now is just like a blessing for sure. And like, it's been quite a journey.
Mhm. And then you mentioned domestic violence. A lot of domestic
Yeah.
was it so it was physical as well as verbal. Were you as well back, or was it just to defend yourself, or what type of situations were you in, if you don't mind me asking, as a female, and you said you had to claw your way out?
Like, I mean, basically, I think that's why I went down the rabbit hole I did after that when I got out, because I was doing pretty okay up to that point. Like, that's another thing about me. Like, I'd always like go like months where I was just doing really good, and then something would happen and I would crash and burn and party, like, so it was always been this vicious cycle for me. And so I met this guy online, and I was just so enamored with him. He had everyone fooled. My whole family liked him, and that's like, your typical narcissist. Like, he had everyone fooled. My own
Yeah.
brothers, my dad, like everybody liked him except my sister-in-law. She was like, there was something off, and she pegged him right away, but I didn't really like, yeah, you're just being hard on him or whatever. But anyway, so very quickly, he just, with the love bombing, and like, I just thought he was the next best thing, like what narcissists do, right? And so to the
Yeah.
point where like, I'm already moving in with him very quick, like a couple months in. And then I start to see the patterns of him. And like, I could tell like he was doing blow, and I'm like, you're doing blow. And then one night we did it together. And then all of a sudden we're doing it together again. And then we're doing it together again. And then it was just like full blown all the time, to the point where he was almost using it to control me. Like, and I
Mm.
even, he would gaslight me so bad that I would be terrified that to upset him, or like I was walking around on eggshells, and like, and like, he was just very abusive, very like derogatory, the things he would say to me. But he was so good at it that I would think it was my fault. And like, but at the thing, keep in mind, like, you're doing all
Scary.
these drugs and drinking, you're up for days at a time, right? Like, you're not thinking clearly. And so then I'm feeling guilty, like, oh my God, like I missed work today. Oh my God, this, and oh my God, that. And then it just keeps spiraling. And it was a couple months in to the point where we're in like full blown like fights and shoving, argument, pushing. And, he pushed me down the stairs one time and like just shit. And to the point where I
Uh-huh.
actually like chased him, like, like back, like hit him back, like chase him. I'll fucking chase you with a knife, bro. Like it was terrifying. And I had to like, we ended up in a big fight. I had bruises all over my chest and my neck and arms. And I was like, I need to get out of here. I missed work. I was so fucked up that I told my parents and my boss that I relapsed and I was in trouble. And I didn't tell them what actually fucking happened because he had me convinced that he would go to jail and then I'd probably go to jail. Like it was wild. So I protected this man and until and then when my sister and my brother found out, they were like over there, they grab me, they get me out of there. And I had to take a month off work and go home to the East Coast to stay with my mom and dad. At this point, everyone's disappointed in me because they think that I've just relapsed. They don't know the real story of what I just fucking went through and survived, like for months.
Yeah.
And finally I had the guts to tell them after. But I mean, when I think back on that, like we got all my shit out of there and I got a new apartment and then I immediately just met a new guy and just sort of jumped right in with him. And, I hadn't processed anything yet. And so he was a nice guy, but I shouldn't have done that. Like I shouldn't have just jumped.
Yeah.
And then we moved in really quick and then COVID hit. And then it was like, we're both out of work for a year, like not to mention I've been trying and trying and trying to find work, but you guys know how that was. And so I just, I just couldn't find work. And then I just started drinking heavy. And that's sort of where my drinking really got a hold of me because I was never really a heavy drinker before that. But I mean, I did everything else. So,
How old were you
I
at this
mean,
point?
Yeah.
at that point, I was 38. So I'll be 43 next month. So that was during COVID. Yeah. So 2020. And then I got a job and I got out of that relationship and I've been on my own now for 4 years. In and
Uh-huh.
out of couple like dating couple of guys. But yeah, like I have a very good job. I'm very fortunate and that's one thing about me is that no matter how many times I fall down, I don't stay down for too long. My sister-in-law would always say, "You're like a cat, you always land on your fucking feet." So I do. I just keep going. And then I've been sober since 2024 July. That's how when I
Awesome.
just like I've just recently decided I want to be like a sobriety coach and help other women through what I went through, and it's starting to do well, and I'm getting some really good feedback and traction on that, and
Mm-hmm.
people reaching out. I've got some clients that I'm working with now, and it's just like like life is just so amazing and like such a blessing when you really start to just
Yeah.
like I feel like this is my purpose now. So this is what I
Yeah.
like why I went through what I went through is so that I can help it and pay it forward and help somebody else.
Yeah. It's like we don't regret
Mm-hmm. And
much of
amen
it,
to that.
honestly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it turned us into who
Mm-hmm.
we are now. Now we actually are capable of helping people.
100%.
And
Yeah.
so can you take us into
Yeah.
like more detail about, say, when the drinking started to get out of hand? What was like a 24-hour period like then?
Mm-hmm.
So I've never been an everyday drinker. My issue again, like I'd be like mine was the binge reset cycle. Binge reset, binge reset, binge reset. So I'd go like weeks, 2-3 weeks where I'd be like going to the gym and like feeling good about myself and eating clean. And like I was like doing online cooking classes and shit. And then I don't know, like I still have to figure out like why, like what triggered me, why, but my problem is one drink. I could never just have one. So
No.
it would I would go buy a big bottle of wine and I would drink that easily. Then I would move on to coolers. Then I would move on to whatever else was there. And like I would pass out and wake up and then just keep going, pass out, wake up, keep going. I'd wake up and there'd be like McDonald's bags there. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I ordered McDonald's. Like I don't remember shit. Like I black out when I drink, even when I only have like 3 drinks because I guess certain people's brains are different, and also I think ADHD might have something to do with it. I'm still doing a lot of research around that piece, but, like, it's very, very common for blackouts, and I think a lot of people mix that up. They think blackout means you just passed out, but it doesn't. It's actually when your brain stops recording memories. You
So
drink
true.
too much too fast, and it affects the part of your brain called the hippocampus, and your brain just stops recording memories. And so people be like, "I didn't think you were that fucked up." I'll be walking, talking, having a great time, doing all kinds of things with people, like, and not have any recollection of it at all. And the next day I'm like, and oh, hey, I'm Erica. They're like, "Oh yeah, we met you yesterday. Don't you remember?" No, I don't. Like, it's wild.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what a day, like I would have a weekend bender like that. And then I would go like, oh my God, I can't do that. And then I would literally go through like a withdrawal period where I'd be shaking. I couldn't even put on my mascara for a couple days, feel like shit, 2, 3 days where I'd start to feel good again. Sometimes I'd go like a couple weeks without it. Like I'd just be going on willpower alone, right? Like I'm not drinking anymore. And then, start feeling good a couple weeks later and be like, I can have a couple. And then the thing would start all over again. Like there's no such thing as moderation.
No,
There isn't, not for someone like me anyways.
So you're going through like a
no, I agree.
bottle and multiple wine coolers.
Fuck yeah.
So
Easily.
like 15, 20
Yeah.
drinks a day easily.
Easily. Yeah.
Wow.
Like I don't know how I was even able to, like, how I didn't end up in the hospital.
And you weren't working at that point?
No, that was during COVID, but I mean,
Yeah.
like the last, like before I got sober, while the first couple, like, so I've been at that place for 4 years, but the first couple of years, like I said, I'd be able to go to work, but I'd feel like
Mhm.
shit,
Yeah.
all week.
Hmm.
And then I'd just be waiting till Thursday, Friday, and then I would binge again all weekend. And then I would have to force myself on Sunday to stop. And then Monday morning, I'd be trying to put on my mascara like, "Oh, fuck, I gotta
Uh,
fucking," and then feeling like shit again, and then
Yeah.
you're definitely, all the other, like, you're not eating well when you're hungover, you're not gonna eat a goddamn salad, you know,
yeah.
when you're hungover, so just, like, everything about it was just so bad, like, it's not a
And
way to
then
live.
it's not. And then you also mentioned your
Yes.
father passing away of cirrhosis of the
Yeah.
liver.
Yeah.
That's when soon after you said it was a plethora of events.
Yeah.
That was one of the major ones that made you look in the mirror and say, like, your surrender moment, I would call it. When did that take place? What happened? What was
Yeah,
that
that
like?
was in May that my dad passed, and, by July 29th, I was sober. So what happened actually, I was in and out of a relationship too with a guy. So that kind of might have had a little bit to do with it. But I was with him and my two brothers and their families. And I'm very, very close to my nieces and nephews, like very, very close. And I absolutely love them. I take them with me to like places all the time and spend a lot of time with them. I don't have any of my own kids. So we all rented these little cabins at a park in the summer and for the long weekend. And I just got so fucking annihilated. I don't remember the weekend at all. There's photos of me on the boat with everybody. And I do not remember any of it, but apparently it was bad. Like I couldn't even talk. I was just blackout. And then I would pass out and then wake up and show up again wherever everybody was. And then I would pass out again. And then I would get up and keep going. And I guess we were out on the Sea-Doos and I got off the Sea-Doo and I bailed and I smashed, like I fell onto the dock and like my whole side of my leg was bruised and my back. And it was just really, really bad. And like people had to take care of me and put me to bed like several times. And I just like when I finally got home on the Sunday, the guy I was with was like, really pretty upset. Like his daughter was even there too. Like, right. Like what kind of
Mm.
example am I setting for all these kids? Right. And it was something in me was just like, I can't do this again. I can't keep doing this because I
Yeah.
had full intentions on going there and just controlling my drinking. Like I told myself, I made sure I bought a shit ton of booze for the long weekend when we went up, like a whole trunk load, but I was like, oh, I won't drink it all, but just in case, and I went
Mhm.
through all of it, like from the Friday to the Sunday or Monday, whatever it was. It was a long weekend. But like, man, and I don't really talk about that a lot because like I guess that could have been my rock bottom, so to speak, but there's so many times before that it should have been my rock bottom, you know what I mean? Like I think
Uh-huh.
I can't really place it on one thing. It was just, that's it. Like, I can't do this to myself anymore. And I did. Like, I lost my dad. I was grieving. And I remember, like, he did say to me before he passed, like, please, Erica, you need to stop drinking. Please do it for me. And like, I didn't do it for him, And so I think that really hit me like hard, that like he even
Mhm.
asked me on his like deathbed and I still didn't do it. I spent his entire funeral a fucking massive wreck, like wasted. I remember the day of the funeral, I was so like, I didn't drink until after I had to do my little speech, but like I was like literally shaking the whole time I had to give my, my monologue or
Mhm.
speech or whatever you call it.
Mhm.
Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of what happened. Like that, I was just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And so I had it in my head for months, like the first 3 months, 3 to 4 months, like leading into Christmas. I was just white knuckling it. I was willpower. It was all willpower alone. Like I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm never drinking again. I had it in my head. I made a decision. And so it was kind of, I don't want to say easy, but like I just decided I wasn't doing it. But that's when like Christmas rolled around and that's when like the dark settled in, right? And I think that's where people either crack or, like
Uh-huh.
people aren't willing to stay in that uncomfortable feeling long enough, as long as it takes to get to the other side. Because, like, if you think about it, like you're rewiring all these pathways in your brain and you're feeling things that you haven't felt in probably decades that you've been numbing forever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like all these things start coming up. So that was a really hard like month. My mom thought for sure, she said, I didn't think you were gonna like make it through
Yeah.
it. But I
That's a
did.
tough
And
time to get
then
sober, like, late
yeah,
summer or whatever,
great.
and
Yeah,
then got the
Christmas, New
holidays
Year's.
coming up and all that. It's like those are really testing times, family drama or just trying to appease so many people, multiple, social situations. Yeah, it was hectic. I got sober in September and I got out of treatment, went straight into Thanksgiving, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in it. You know
Shit.
what? I think that there's a lot of firsts that you need to get through. The first holiday, the first vacation,
Yeah.
the first wedding, whatever it is. Uh,
Birthdays. Yeah,
yeah,
all of that
Yeah.
shit.
It's not easy. If you can power through that, though, I mean, things start to get easier. So,
100%. And that's
yeah.
like once I got through that other side and like I think January rolled around, it was like kind of like, oh, okay, like something snapped and like changed. And I was like,
Yeah.
I made it. Like, and then everything after that was just like clearer and better. And it
Yeah.
does get better. And
It really
you
does.
just have to, and I went to therapy once a week. Like, don't get me wrong. I had someone to
Mhm.
talk to. I had to, I didn't go the typical treatment route with AA and stuff, but I mean, whatever you
Yeah.
need to get, it's the community and having someone to talk to. I think that's important. I love like what you guys are doing. Like, I think it's really important that we come
Thank you.
together and talk about stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was my next question. I was gonna say, what did you do in the beginning of sobriety to stay sober? So you went to therapy, you didn't go the AA route, and that's okay. I don't go to AA. I did try AA, wasn't for me. But what did you do? So you just went to therapy, but that's a session a week, right? So that's just 1 hour. What did
Mhm.
you do other than that to keep yourself sane? Because I remember the first a couple months and it was hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah, I had a psychotherapist that I talked to once a week. She was great. My mom, I probably phoned her 4 or 5 times a day, like literally, and she'd just listen and I'd just talk and I kind of tried to keep myself busy. I started walking every day. Like I've always been pretty active and into sports anyway. So it was, something that I knew I had to do was just like get walking, eating clean. I love to cook. So I would just like find a recipe and make a recipe. And so like you like just finding things that started discovering things that used to bring me joy that I didn't do anymore. And I just really
Mhm.
focused on that and just focused on being close with my family. If I felt like anxious, a lot of times I'd go pick up the kids, take them bowling, whatever I could to just keep myself
Mhm.
busy. Yeah, that's kind of, and I really got my hands on every piece of literature I could about sobriety and quitting. So one book that really changed my life was just Alan Carr's Easy Way. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Mm,
but he has a book about quitting smoking and quitting alcohol and other things. So it's called Alan Carr, and there's a books he has an easy way book, but there's one specifically for women too, because women's brains are like women and alcohol is a little bit different than men. So not that one's worse than the other, but it affects us differently. So I read that book.
mhm,
I listened to it on Audible actually, and it changed how I saw alcohol in general. Like just I had to really,
mhm,
really see it for what it was. Like, what is this actually going to do for me if I have a drink? Like, what is it doing? It's poison.
It is straight
It
yeah,
up
is
poison.
literally shrinking your brain. So, like, once I
yeah,
started, like, really seeing it for what it was, it's not making me more confident. If anything, it makes me obnoxious. It's not,
yeah,
it's not taking the edge off. It's actually making my anxiety worse. Like, all these things that we've been promised, like, that it's been sold to us, like, it's this great thing. It's a fucking lie. It's an
mhm,
absolute lie, and I think people are starting to see it, like, more. Like, I'm noticing a trend,
yeah,
I'm noticing a shift.
Yeah, it's
Alcohol sales
becoming.
are way
mhm,
down, there's more mocktails wherever bar you go to, people are just saying no because it's like I see, like, younger kids now, and I'm like, "Man, why you're not passed out in a ditch somewhere?" Like, that's how I
Yeah,
was at that age, like, what the
yeah.
hell? Like, they're, like, super like, "No, we go to the gym."
I
Like, "Good
know
for
it's so
you."
different now, and
Like, they are
I want to get
yeah.
into more of that too. But I have one more question backtracking. So when you started therapy, what are like a couple of the most significant things you had to address when you got into therapy that helped you stay sober and kind of helped with your recovery?
I don't know if it was one thing that, like, helped me stay sober. It was just really figuring out, like, why I get like, what my triggers are, and I actually made a post about it today on my Instagram. Like, it's just she helped me figure out, like, when you get triggered by something, and it could be something very small, like something somebody says, and if you're conscious of it, like, "That didn't sit right," and you can tell, like, where it comes up in your body. Sometimes it comes up in your shoulders shrink, or it's in your stomach, or you
mhm,
feel it in your throat. Like, and that means like if you can try to track back that feeling to like your younger self, like when's the first time I felt that way, and figure out where it stems from. And it's probably sometime maybe for me, for example, is like I had maybe when I was a kid, I learned that I can't speak up. I can't speak up for myself because that is dangerous, right? So for whatever reason, I learned that. But like she helped me piece those together, like when those triggers happen, like where does that come up in my body? And it's nervous system work. So I'm really going
mhm,
down that route of like just learning about triggers and nervous system regulation. I'm not an expert, but it's something that I'm becoming aware of. I had a situation today, like I just got my hair done. And the other day, this guy said to me, like, why is your hair that color? I don't like it. It's gray. And I was
What?
oh, well, it's not
I'd
gray.
be
It's
like,
blonde.
"Bitch."
But anyway, like that
That's how
bothered
you get
me.
your
And
ass
I
beat.
was like, I'm like, who's this guy? Right. Like, so anyway, then later I was telling my mom about it and she goes, well, yeah, you should probably like go a little darker, like tone it down a bit. And I was so
Yeah,
mad. I was like attacked, right? Like, and because it's my mom and she was just trying to help, but it triggered the fucking shit out of me. And then I'm like all upset. And then I go get my hair done and I went darker because I let what somebody else said affect me. And so I realized, like, then I was like, kind of like, why did I do that? And then I'm upset about it. And I'm like, I realized like those little things like that. It reminded me of like when I was a kid and I got this perm and you look like a poodle. And from then on, I
right.
realized that I have to look a certain way for boys or for men, right? And so like all these small little things that trigger you. And then if whatever my mom said, it affected the trigger and it all just kind of spirals.
Snowballs. Yeah.
Yep. And that's where you just get overwhelmed and you're pouring a drink like, fuck, I had a shit day. And then you're having a drink and you don't even really know why.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's what my
yeah, you broke that down
psychologist,
well.
You broke
yeah,
that down
like,
really well. I can relate to all of that. Just like every time I'm still trying to piece together, things that people said to me when I was like 8 years old that I'm still
yeah.
probably made me self conscious today. So that you
For
broke it
sure.
down
And like
perfectly.
we don't realize how much of that your little self comes up in like because it's your subconscious memory, right? So like your little self is running the show a lot of the times. It's because you're insecure. It's because you were silenced or whatever it is. You like there's trauma there, right? And it doesn't mean like that some like that, even that, like everybody has trauma. It doesn't have to be big trauma. It's little trauma. It's how people say things. It's the things we're taught, like about money, about everything. Like your parents, if your parents were always saying, oh, we're broke, we're broke, we're broke, you're going to grow up thinking, having issues about money, right? It's scarcity mindset,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So that's really what my psychotherapist really started to help me, just like, where is this coming up in my body? Why does this make me feel that way? And just sitting with it for a second and then reminding myself, like, I'm okay. I'm safe. A friend helped me with that today too. Like when that all happened, she works on this stuff, and I sent her a voice note, all like, like this happened. And she called me and she's like, put your hand on your chest and like remind yourself, like, you're safe. Like, and figure out where it's coming from. And so she's amazing too. Like,
Good
What's
for
you
you.
just, you have to
happening?
have people in your life that you can talk to and reach out to and support you.
Sorry, I had a little freeze up, so
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll write down the time so I make sure I block that out.
Okay. Yeah, no
I
worries.
heard put your hand on your chest.
Yeah, she just said, like, put your hand on your chest and remind yourself that you're safe.
Yeah.
And like, and just honor, like, okay, I'm being triggered right now. And like, she's really, really great. It's a friend of mine who I just recently met through my coaching business. She's not a client of mine, but she's a fellow coach, and we've kind of bonded. So you know, you just need you need good people in your life, and you need to just start surrounding yourself with winners. Like,
Hmm.
So true. Yeah, the
Yeah.
last one of the last people we interviewed said that we are the culmination of like the 5 different people we keep closest to us, or something like that.
but
Isn't that what
yeah,
she said? Yeah,
absolutely.
I believe that now. I've been thinking about who the people I spend the most time with, and I'm like, definitely, it's true.
Damn. It is
Yeah,
true.
100%.
Yeah.
yeah.
If I could even name 5 for me. But tell me more
I
about,
know, right?
right? 5 people. Whoa. But tell me more about the coaching. Like, where did you come up with you wanted to start coaching women? Or is
I've
it
always
both men and
Yeah.
women?
I mean, I've always wanted to be a teacher since I was a kid. And I just realized, like, I'm just been very
Okay.
open about my sobriety journey in general. So like a couple times when I had milestones, like I think around 4 months, and then again at like 6 months and a year, I was posting on social media, and I was getting a lot of really positive responses and getting messages from people that I hadn't heard from in a decade. Like, hey, thank you for being so open. Like, you're so brave, and you know, whatever. I feel like seen as well, and I would love to try to quit drinking, and asking me like how I did it and for tips and stuff. And that got me thinking, like, I could be like, you know, maybe like peer support for some people, and like sort of like, I guess what you would like a sponsor would be in AA. I don't know how that works. I've never
Yeah.
been to AA, but I know there's such thing as sponsors and stuff. But yeah, so I just follow a guy on social media. His name's Kaler Betts and Betts Nation, and he is phenomenal, and basically has a program to exit your 9 to 5 kind of deal. And he teaches you how to start and run your own business and become a coach in whatever it is, whatever niche you choose. And so I dove in, and I've been learning from him and his team, and they're amazing. And they've been, you know, and I just was like, I want to help other women like through what I've been through. So that's how I got started. And it's starting to it's starting to take traction, and I'm starting to get a lot of really awesome feedback. Like when I first started, I didn't even know how to, like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to edit videos. I don't know how to be on camera. I don't know how to make content. But it's just like anything. You just gotta try and start,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and you'll
I
learn
didn't
as
know
you go,
anything
right?
Yep.
about a podcast until it's just repetition, and then things just start to be muscle memory. You know, you start to just get
Totally.
quick at it. So,
Yeah.
can you
Hmm.
explain a little more about what break the binge reset cycle means?
Well,
Hmm.
just exactly like what I was explaining about, like for me, my expertise is in the woman. Like, I want to work with the woman who knows her drinking is a problem, and who is like the binge drinker, and then the one who like will reset and like be able to like just, you know, you're holding it together. Like you have a good job, and you hold it together at work, and you crush it at work, and then you come home, and then the weekend hits, and then you like the alcohol is affecting you, right? And so for whatever, you quit again, and you say you're going to stick to it, and then for whatever reason you just can't make it stick, and then there's another binge, something happens, whatever it is. And so that's what I want to help women uncover, is like, why? Like, why do we keep going back? Why do we think we need it? And I'm not saying I wouldn't work with somebody who drinks every day too, but like the binge reset cycle is something I'm very, like, I understand the most.
Do you apply
Okay.
that to not just like drinking, but like do you apply it to going back to like say narcissistic, abusive men and stuff like that? Do you ever relate those things?
I think they're all absolutely connected.
Yeah.
Like, just how my therapist told me, like, my brain is super hardwired for dopamine, and so it will chase that down under any circumstances, and so, like, I used to, for the longest time, think guys who didn't party were boring. Like, they're
Yeah.
not boring, they're stable, they're
Yeah.
healthy, they're fucking healthy.
Yeah.
My brain's like, "Hey, I need the freaking crazy," right? Like, that is, so it's like really learning to reprogram that part of my brain, like, and like, no, this is safe, this is good, this is calm, this is okay. Like, so yeah, like, I think it's all related. Every choice I've ever made is correlated with that diagnosis, like, really is, because it just makes so much sense, but I'm still learning a lot
Does.
about it. Yeah. And, like, I've never had a great choice in men, but I guarantee you that I definitely passed a few good ones, because, again, I was just like, "I can't, that guy's boring, like, no way." Like,
Yeah.
and then I
I
would
know.
just go for the guy, the drug dealer, the one who was exciting, the one with the money, whatever it is, right? Like, and then it's like it was so dangerous. And
Yeah, I look back at some of the, potential significant others I passed up over the years, and I'm just like, those were actually, good women, they probably would have been really healthy for me to be in a relationship like that, but I was looking for something different, obviously.
that's right.
Can't always find the best partners at the bars.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
I
podcast. Where do you find the good ones now?
So so
I've been in a relationship for a decade. I can't. I don't even know how to date, so
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
know what to
interesting.
do.
so say like a woman approaches you to be coached by you, what are some of the first things you ask or look for
I
to
just
make sure you're a
wanna,
good
like,
match?
are they, I wanna know, like, have they tried before, and what failed, like, what didn't work for them, and what are their roadblocks. So if somebody messages me on Instagram or something, I'll just, like, try to get on a call with them, and, like, let's hop on a call and see where you're at and if I can help. And so I'm still building out my program, because everybody's so different, and I'm learning as I go what every person needs. But what they're really going to get from me is, like, so let's say I had my therapist, right? Like you said, that's only 50 minutes once a week. It's like very
Right.
expensive unless you have coverage for that stuff. And that's it.
Mhm.
That's it. There's no more support. So what I'm going to do is get on the call with somebody, and we're going to dig in deep, and it's one-on-one coaching from me for 8 weeks. So we do, let's say, like 8 sessions together, but they will have access to me, like, through WhatsApp, whatever it is in between, if they need support. We're going to dig into, like, what's going on in their life, how much they're drinking, like, what are some barriers, and what are, like, digging really into what the triggers are, and how are we going to come up with a plan when those triggers present themselves. Setting up, for me, it was walking and going to the gym again and cooking. Like, I'm going to help them basically structure, like, a schedule that's going to keep them busy, and, like, have check-ins. And eventually, as I have more clients, we'll have a group where we're all in together,
Yeah.
and you can support each other and comment about how your
Mhm.
journey is going. I mean, at the end of the day, I really just want to know what their pain, what if the question I want to know is, at the end of the 8 weeks, if you could have something, like, what would it be by the end of this week? Like, where do you see yourself in 8 weeks from now? What is the best version of you? Like, what do you want? And then I'm going to do everything absolutely necessary to help them get problem solve and get that, and have that end result. And
Okay.
hopefully, by the end of the 8 weeks, and I don't know if it's only going to be 8 weeks. I might make it longer to 12. I'm not sure. I'm still testing and seeing how much time people need. But my hope for them is that by the end of it, they don't want to go back to have a drink. It's like,
Yeah.
don't, that's not going to serve me. That's not, so I mean, that's my hope at the end of it. And of
Mhm.
course, we want to keep working together. We can too, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome.
And I do have a question. If you could speak to people who are listening right now that are sober curious, or they want to get sober curious, or they're early in sobriety and they're just really struggling, but they're listening right now, what advice would you give them if you were sitting in front of them?
Oh, um, just that you deserve better, and you don't, there, whatever it is that is bringing, like, enough pain that you want to, like, drink it away, or whatever that is, like, reach out, get some support, get some help, because you're worth it. And like, yes, sobriety is hard, but it's the work that goes into it. That's the hard part, but it's so, so worth it in the end. I don't have any like magic words, but like it's just
Hmm.
you know, it's not just about not drinking, and you don't have to white knuckle it the whole way through. Like you really don't. Once you
Right.
start doing that inner work, it gets easier. It really does, but you have to give it time. It's not like some 30-day, I gave it 30 days and I'm better now. Like that's where the real work starts. And you just
Mhm.
have to be willing to be uncomfortable and like push through and figure, like sit with it and let, like feel the feels and get to the other side, because the other side is where your life starts and where it begins and where all the blessings are. And you'll never
Yeah,
want to go back if you just give yourself that time to get there. And yeah,
so
just
true.
get
Yeah.
some support, find someone to talk to. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it seems like everybody has their own
100%.
timeline on when they get to the other side. You know, I've heard some
Totally.
people feel it after a couple of months, some people
Yep.
take a year. So, yeah, I mean, I know when I hit mine and it was like, oh my gosh, it's like I was reborn, but a
Yeah.
better person and feeling 10 times better. So, it's just,
Yeah, for me, I would say like early sobriety for me was like the first year, 8
yeah,
months to a year. And
yeah,
like I do believe you have to do all the firsts, the first vacation, the first hockey game, the first baseball game,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah. Once you
so
start
true.
doing those things
Hmm.
too, you realize I had way more fun sober. It's like I
Yeah,
remember everything. I look good in the photos, like
yeah,
I saved
exactly.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Things
The
get so
glow up
much
is
easier.
so real.
We were just
totally.
talking about that earlier. It's like people look like night and day compared to it. No offense, but I was looking at your before and after picture. I'm like, geez, the glow up is real with people, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I'm aging backwards for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
same.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. And yeah, it's like Rachel and I both have Rachel has like videos from back in the day and stuff and just showing her behavior back then. It's like looking at how we are now and how much more mature we've become and how much we've grown. It's just amazing. So
Oh,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the glow up is real,
Gotta
and
show
then
them how
I
I
kinda
used to
wish
be.
I wish I still had, like, videos and pictures. So I think I probably always deleted them because I, like, knew I like, how bad I looked, right? But I'm like, "Damn, I wish
Well,
I
they
had it
were
now for
sent
the
to me.
content."
You
These
learned
were
about
all
your
sent.
what have you learned about yourself like since you've been getting sober and you're into long-term sobriety now? You know, what have you learned about yourself that you never knew, you know, back before you started drinking, before you know, have
Honestly, I
you
feel
learned
like
more?
I'm just reconnecting with who I was meant to be the whole time, or who I always have been. I just was masking it and not really truly living. I played softball again this summer. I have money to travel, and like I went on a nice trip with my mom. Like I did some charity work this year like that, and like I just did all the things that I would have liked to do before. I just couldn't because I was hungover or drunk, or
Yeah.
I show up when I say I'm going to show up. And that's huge. Like just the integrity piece alone is like, I like who I am. I like who I see when I look in the mirror now. I can sleep. I rest easy at night knowing like that I'm doing my best every day. And that's unmatchable. Like you can't put price on that.
Well said.
No.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Thanks.
I'm a Yeah, no,
Where
I
we're
I
going.
really I went down sobriety coaching myself, not me as a coach, but I was part of a group. So I like how you mentioned that as it evolves, it's going to turn into you want it to be more of a community so they
Of
could all
course.
support each other. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
very helpful for me, especially in early sobriety for sure when I was part of that group. I could admit to that. Having a sense of community if you're not in a program or AA, it's definitely well needed, especially women to women, right? We need to talk about things with each other. We just do. So I think it's great that you're doing that.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, that's really good feedback for me
Mhm.
too. Yeah, no, community is so important. And I think that,
Yeah.
I've even had like some guys at work, like since I've been online, like and doing content and stuff and saying, "Oh, hey, I saw you on TikTok." And like I go to AA and it like saved my life. And like I've been in AA for 10 years and I still hang out with the guys I met there. And like he said the same thing, like the community was just the most important piece.
Yeah.
Just having
Yeah.
people who are like I call it my tribe, right?
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Can you tell us how do people find you on Instagram, and what kind of content are you putting out there? I'm looking through it right now and I see a lot of cool stuff like date night blackouts and drinking makes you toxic. Like, tell us about that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. It's Cheetah Rising Official. So at Cheetah Rising Official. And I'll just quickly say like what Cheetah Rising means. I think I said it earlier in the call with you guys. Like when I've been going through a lot of my harder stuff, my sister-in-law would always say to me, like, you're like a cat. You always land on your feet. Like you got this, she'd be trying to like help me. And I have a really good friend, my best friend, and she said, whenever I'm having a hard day, she'd go, you know what, Erica, you're a fucking cheetah. You can fucking do this. You're a fucking cheetah. So it just like, it stuck with me. And I love cats. So I was like, you know what, Cheetah Rising, like, yeah, like, it's like, I'm talking to that woman who's going to rise into that cheetah energy and just slay her life. Like, go get it. Go get it.
Awesome.
So that's where Cheetah Rising was born.
Plus, you always land on your feet, right?
That's right. So yeah, so like for content, I mean, I'm still learning like what I want to say. I'm still like getting to know like my voice and like the place I want to come from, but I'm really starting to hone in on that. Like I just want to be real with people. And so I talk about the shit that makes me uncomfortable. At first it was really scary. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go on there and talk about how I blacked out on a date. And I'm like this like white girl wasted, chick. Like, what if no guy wants to date me after that? Like all these fears start coming up in your head. And I'm like, but I'm not that girl anymore. I'm like, I'm, I'm a strong, sober woman, and any guy would be lucky to have me at this point, I think. So there you go. So yeah, I'm very open about the behaviors, how it affects other people, what, that it's okay. Like if this happened to you, if like it's like I explained like in one reel, like what a blackout is, because a lot of people like don't understand. Like I said to my mom, oh, I blacked out. And she's like, well, what do you mean? Who got you home? Like, how'd you like, what do you, like, and it like, did someone carry you in the house? I'm like, no, it doesn't mean I was passed out. Like I just blacked out. Like I don't remember. And she's like, oh, well, you should explain that in one of your videos. So I did. But yeah, just I'm trying to be real and just tell my story from my perspective, so that I want somebody out there to say, oh, she's talking about me. That happened to me too. And okay, I'm not crazy, or I'm not alone. And just know that like I'm living proof like you can and we do recover, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am with the content. And
Love it. No, I love it. I want to
Yeah,
watch
I
all
do
the
too.
videos today actually because they all have really cool titles, and I'm like, this looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them are kind of like
Well,
I mean, like I said, I'm getting better with it, and like I'm actually just having fun with it, and I think that's something too that's like helpful for me in my still active recovery, right? Like that I'm
Uh-huh.
like helping it. It's almost like I'm learning so much about myself in the process
yeah,
of like I'm sure you guys must real like notice it like when you're doing your podcast, like you're always learning something like, oh wow, like
yeah.
Yeah.
just
We learn
evolving, right?
we learn from the guests,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like then we talk about our own stories and stuff. And sometimes we're like, oh, it's kind of cringe to even talk about that kind of stuff. But it's like somehow, some way, it might be helping somebody. So let's just get
Totally.
it out there.
Yeah.
Totally, and I'm willing to be cringe for that girl that I might help, honestly.
Yeah,
I, I
you
like,
definitely
it's
are.
Yeah.
and if you don't have some haters on there, then you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. We were just talking about that too. Like, hey, I was like, Rachel was
Yeah.
like, I think I got haters. And I'm like, if we got haters, this is
Too
a good
many.
sign. We're doing
That's
something right.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
one
they're just
guy, I
growing
was
and growing.
doing one video, and I have, like, my cat tree in the background, and the guy commented, "Fucking cat lady." And I was like,
There's
"I'm
Love
nothing wrong
sorry,
with
cats.
the
did
cat
that
lady.
trigger you? Did your
I
wife
am a
leave
cat
you and
lady
have
too.
pets now?"
I
Yeah,
just
like
saw
what's
cats
wrong?
go across
Fucking
both your
cat.
screens.
Yeah,
I have a cat right here
I got
Yeah.
on the
2.
wall.
They're sitting here like, "What?"
Yeah.
I have a cat
That's
tree
funny.
over here. No, but seriously, that's actually what made me click on your page. It said
Oh, yeah?
cheetah. I was like, ooh, and sobriety, cats and sobriety. So I was
I
like,
love it.
That's pretty
yes,
cool.
follow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yes. So you see, we find our people. You just got to put yourself
Mm-hmm.
out there, and
Yeah.
we'll find our people. Where are you guys located? Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida. I knew that. Yeah, I think we talked about that. Idaho. I
Mm-hmm.
think I drove through Idaho once.
Yeah. No, it's nothing special. Nothing special. I may not be here forever. I don't know. It's, I'm
I
definitely
don't
not
plan to be
asking
here
people to come
forever
visit
either,
me.
but
Definitely go
Idaho.
out to visit Rachel more than I'll ask her to ever come visit here. So
Yeah, I think Florida sounds nicer than Idaho.
A little more appealing, yeah.
I
But
awkwardly asked Ryan when
making
I
it work.
first met him. I awkwardly, like, I think, do you remember this, Ryan? I wrote in text message, I was like, bring me a potato. Bring me back
I know.
a potato from Idaho.
We're known
And
for
he
potatoes
was
out here.
like, what
It's
the
pretty
fuck?
crazy.
Yeah, like, is that what you guys are known for?
But sadly, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Sadly,
Bring
yeah.
me a potato.
Yep. And in the town I'm
Bring
in,
me
the-
a bag.
the biggest company we got in this town is like a paper mill or something. So, I mean, that's pretty exciting out here.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from a small town in New Brunswick too, so I get it. Like New Brunswick is right on the border of Maine, so I've been, I love that part of Canada too.
Well, they got
It's
like White
I'd
Castle. over there,
I'd
don't
rather
they?
be there than in the city, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be in Florida out of anywhere. So I love Florida.
You love Florida.
I do. Yeah, I really do.
I'm originally
My mom
from
and dad had a
Boston.
house in Cape Coral. Yeah, for a long time,
Cape
and
Coral.
I spent a lot
Okay.
of time there. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Rachel, do you have any other questions?
No question. Just thank you so much for sharing your story with us and coming
Yeah,
on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, that was so much fun.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Okay, good.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
No, I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And let's stay in touch. And I'll be sharing your stuff and rooting you guys on. And I would love to
Awesome.
connect in the future for sure.
Of
Awesome.
course.
Thank you so
Of
much. We
course.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.